Welcome to the IPF World Championships here live in Istanbul, Turkey. I am Ryan Sixpack Lapid. I am accompanied in the booth with none other than Gavin Aiden, former junior world champion himself. And Gavin, today we have the men's sub-junior and I believe sub-junior 120 and 120 plus. There's a quick peek at the running order. Throw it to the platform as Noah Espinoza of USA will open with 160 kilos.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting with the squats. Our first lifter, Noah Espinoza from the United States.
I'll give a quick shout out to our sponsors while I have a minute. Alico, whose competition place you see on the platform right now, as well as SBD, who supplied the singlet this young man representing USA is wearing. And that looks smooth. We're gonna move between the 120 and 120 plus sub-juniors. And I'll let you know when we bounce from class to class. That was a 120 plus. Luke Atkinson of Great Britain. 120 plus sub-junior, Luke 18 years old. 122 kilos. These are the type of kids that probably don't get bullied in high school. That was deep, little sticky at the lockout, but it might be just the way he squats.
Good leg. All right. The next lifter is Juan Oliveira from Brazil, 185 kilos, followed by Chuck from the United States.
Oliveira from Brazil, 185 kilos for his opening squat. We're moving into the 120 class. $18 years old. Nice smooth squat to get himself on the board. And Henrik Chan of USA. 120 kilo sub-junior class. Team USA head coach, been here so many days in a row, back to back, even in the quit championships. Beat the rack command. Got a little over anxious. Expect next time when he hits the platform the coach to yell hold or something to that effect after he squats it up. And Dominik Sloma of Poland, 200 kilos even.
Next lifter, Robert Goodbranson from Iceland, 200 kilos. Bar is loaded.
Robert Goodbranson of Iceland, 200 kilos. And Gavin, Iceland has a history of strength athletes, do they not?
Oh, they absolutely do. It's funny. I feel like they've got some crazy athletes in strongman, and we actually don't even get to see too many of them in the powerlifting space, but I'm hoping as the sport grows, we will.
Nice squat there. Yeah, I mean, Iceland, it's a funny situation. They have CrossFit World Games champion. Obviously, their soccer football team is phenomenal and world class, and then so many times world's strongest man. And actually, Zydrunas Savickas, several-time world strongman, was an IPF silver medalist at the World Championships before he went to strongman, though.
Wow.
Lewis Perry, Great Britain, 202.5. And I think he might have also competed in the juniors, if I could draw a connection.
Good play.
3 whites.
Next lifter, Ahmet Enes Akbal from Turkey, 205 kilos. Bar is loaded.
Ahmet Enes of Turkey, 205. And he's going to want to pay attention to those hands. The fingers got to be over the bar. Can't really see well from this angle. Yeah, Rory, head coach, but also the center ref, was mentioning to the jury, they asked, you need your hands around that bar. And Marcus Letla of Estonia, 215. We haven't seen a lot of people from Estonia at these World Championships, but they do have a lot of quality lifters, especially in this weight class. I think Sim Rast is from Estonia, if I'm not mistaken. Nice squat depth. And Sim, a medalist at the Open World Championships, 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Ivan Georgiev of Bulgaria, 18 years old, a 6-year veteran. And competing too, not just lifting weights at 12, but competing in powerlifting. Bulgaria has a strength history itself. Nice squat depth.
Good play. Next lifter, Gabriel Casalinga from Brazil. Bar is loaded, 230 kilos.
Gabriel Casalinga of Brazil, 230 on the bar for his opening squat. 18 years old.
Good play.
3 highlights.
From United States, 170 kilos.
look at the squats after the first session. First round of squats, rather.
Bar is loaded for Noah.
Noah Espinoza from US, 270, 10 kilo jump, 2.5 kilo personal best. You know what? That might have moved even better in his opener.
Good play.
Actually, I want to commend him. I got a chance to meet him, and maybe his coach or possibly his father, I'm not totally sure. But this week, as I've tried to train, there's limited availability. A lot of athletes were struggling to train. He was one of them. He handled it really, really well. And given his age, given the fact that this is probably his first championship, it's really impressive. He seriously had such a positive attitude about it. And I'm honestly really excited to see what he does today because, like I said, it's rare to find someone who can handle a lot of that stress so well.
Henrik Chan of US, 185. Got the rack command on point, depth on point, back on track.
Oliveira from Brazil. Bar is loaded for Luke.
Luke Atkinson of Great Britain, 185 kilos for his second attempt. 5 kilo jump, well below his 215 personal best. Expecting this to move, but the 215, you don't know what the stories are. It's probably domestic, didn't have to fly to Turkey. Steadying himself here. And he shouldn't totally jump back and take a sweet time. He's got 20, 18, 19, 17. He might not be fully aware of how little time he has, that he only got a minute. He's only in powerlifting a year. There we go.
Time out. Noted. The next lifter for Brazil, Oliveira, 1.
Hopefully he can fix that going into his third. I mean, to be fair, he was able to get the start command in his first attempt, which means that it is possible.
They just want his hips to come forward. It looked like to me his hips came forward after it was addressed. You just can't have your hip hinged so you're already ready to start squatting.
Yeah, you know what? In the previous session that we saw, the 84 and 84 plus kilo women's, there were some women who were actually, it looked intentional, it was very clever. They would start very upright, and then as soon as they got the start command, they would hinge and then initiate their squat.
200 for Oliveira of Brazil. I mean, there really is no need to overly rush. Start hinging already, but they want you to start upright.
Bar is loaded for Ahmed.
Ahmed. Akpola of Turkey, local lifter, missed 205, retaking, well, no, taking 210 kilos for his second. That looked good. In the situation here, I believe it was, if I remember correctly, the fingers, which are clearly around the bar this time. You just want to see control over it and your fingers covering, but it doesn't have to be wrapped around in a grip. Louise Perry of Great Britain, 210. And that's for safety. Some people refer to, one second here, we'll just throw it to the platform for a moment. Parry, 3 white lights. And there is a safety issue, obviously. We have a platform full of spotters and loaders, and if you come out with what they call the suicide grip, no fingers around it, just a palm pushing against it on one side into your back, you might be used to that at the gym, and it might feel comfortable there, but there needs to be a standard of safety when you hit the platform. It's more than just yourself putting yourself in the line of fire. That's also why if you miss a lift, you stay with the bar and walk it in as best you can, as opposed to miss the lift, walk away, don't stay with the bar, and just let it drop into the spotters behind you. Want everybody to go home the same way they came in. Dominic of Poland, 215. Might have been a little down up. Let's see. Definitely a pause at best. Or yeah.
Not complete. 2-1. Marcus Lata from Estonia. 217.5.
You know what? That could have been. Yeah, it was right on the line. I see why the judges are split on it. It happened so quickly. We have slow-mo replay, though. They do not. Marcus Letla of Estonia, 217.5. Just a 2.5 kilo jump. That's pretty conservative for squats. And he is a large
Yeah, he's big.
18-year-old.
He reminds me of the powerlifter who then went to strongman. He's one of SBD's biggest athletes.
Luke Richardson.
Yes, Luke.
I had him on the podcast years ago, 2018 years ago, and he was very young at the time. And he was talking about his training sessions as a teen, 4 hours every day, dedicating his life to it. When you're like that, sky's the limit. He moved into strongman, became Europe's strongest man. I mean, very young, achieving those goals. 220 for Robert Gudbranson of Iceland. A little bit of a pause there, nothing major. We're in the sub-juniors there.
Next shooter from Brazil, Gabriel Castaneda. 240 kilos.
Back to the 120 pluses, Gabriel Castaneda of Brazil.
Bar is loaded.
And we're in the 120 pluses, but he weighed in 120.3, which is interesting. That's a couple snacks away from 120. But having said that, he's a contender for the podium. Whoa. He's got to steady himself. The spotters now are very much paying attention. What do you think happened there, Gavin? You're a phenomenal squatter.
I don't know about that, but
You had the world record on your back, love.
Yeah. When you take heavy weight, your body responds to it very differently. And depending on how you peak, which is what we usually call the later half of our training cycles for powerlifting, depending on how you peak, that will determine how well your body is prepared. But even beyond that, it is very difficult to control the weight and your central nervous system, especially if you've been undergoing a lot of systemic fatigue. There's a lot of stress, right? Especially your world championship, you're traveling and stuff. All these things affect it. It is very difficult to balance that, and I think he's just simply having a hard time handling that. But that's something that comes with time. As you grow and as you handle that more often, you get more comfortable with it.
245, Ivan Georgiev.
We have Luke Atkinson, followed by Noah Espinosa,
There is a look at the squats after 2 rounds.
Bar is loaded for blue.
$185, Luke Atkinson.
Good play.
3 white lights.
Next lifter, Noah Espinosa from United States. Bar is loaded
And should be noted,
185 kilos.
he was upright, got the start command this time. He got it for his opener, got it for his third. Noah Espinosa of US, 185. Slowed, but he gets it. What you would expect from a third when you're pushing yourself.
Next lifter, Henry Chan
Back into the 120s.
from United States. Bar is loaded.
Henrik Chan, 195, missed 185. Retook it. Now 195 loaded for his third and final squat.
Good play.
3 whites.
Next lifter, Daniela from Brazil, 210 kilos. Bar is
Going back
loaded
to the
for
120s, Oliveira representing Brazil, 210 kilos, 10 kilo jump. This squat will put him in bronze medal position for squats with 3 more lifters to go. I would never guess this gentleman is 18 if I saw him in the street. I would call him sir. And mind my manners.
Good play.
That's a good lift.
From Poland, 215 kilos. Bar is loaded for Sloma.
Staying in the 120 sub-juniors, Dominik Sloma of Poland, 215. This would snag that squat bronze from Oliveira if he can hit it. Missed 215 on his second. Does he get himself onto that podium? Wow.
Good
And
play.
he does.
Next lifter, Ahmet Enes Akpol from Turkey, 215 kilos. Bar is loaded.
Ahmed Enes of Turkey, local lifter, 215. Missed 205, jumped to 210 regardless. Hit it, jumped to 215. Looks like his heart was set on 5 kilo jumps. And here we are in the 120 pluses. He has squat bronze locked up, but could use this 15 kilos towards his total.
Good play.
3 whites.
Barry, Great Britain, 217.5. Bar is loaded.
Lewis Perry of Great Britain, 217.5. This will grab, we're in the 120 pluses, and this will grab him silver in the squats. Well, look pretty good. 2-1 it is. Robert Gudbranson of Iceland, 225 kilos. Fights through that sticking point very well. This is the 120 silver medal in squats.
Yeah, when you can keep that bar stacked over the midfoot, it becomes much easier to grind the lift. He doesn't have to use his upper back at all. He really can just press through the floor.
He keeps his lats locked, elbows down. When they flare back and your chest pitches forward, bar path gets wonky. So much more difficult to scrap when you need to. We're back in the 120 pluses, where Marcus of Estonia wants to swap his bronze squat for the silver squat, as well as pick up 12.5 kilos, and he's going to need it because only 7.5 kilos separates the top 3 lifters in this class in the prognosis. One of the bigger 18-year-olds you'll see.
What's insane is if he lived in the U.S., that man would have like a $100 million contract with the NFL right now out of high school.
You should talk to him.
I really should. I'll be his agent.
Yeah, well, I'll be a hanger-on. And 240 for Gabriel Cosaniga of Brazil. Missed 240 for his second, taking it again for his third. He has the squat gold locked up. However, he could use these 10 kilos. Again, 7.5 kilos separates the 120 pluses in the prognosis. It is too close. He needs these kilos.
It's a lot more stable this time. Yep.
Yeah, what adjust? Oh, depth though.
You think so?
Well, it was called for depth, but we'll see on the replay if you agree. Look, Rory.
That was depth, man. I don't think he could have gone lower.
Jerry's coming over. I think they're gonna give it to him.
Bar is loaded for anyone.
I think the jury. $255. We're back in the 120 sub juniors. And Ivan grabs 10 more kilos, building an incredibly large lead in the 120 sub juniors. And just to give you an update, Consaniga of Brazil, his squat was overturned to be good by the jury. So there's a look at the 120 plus sub juniors. Ivan of Bulgaria taking the gold. Robert from Iceland taking the silver. Dominique of Poland taking the bronze. And Gabriel Kosaniga with his squat being passed by the jury taking the gold. Marcus taking from Estonia taking silver. Lewis Perry taking the bronze. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a 20-minute break. Well, if you are going anywhere, come back in 20 minutes for the bench session. See you then. Welcome back to the IPF World Championships live in Istanbul, Turkey. I am Ryan Six-Pack Lapidot, accompanied in the booth by former junior world champion Gavin Aiden. And Gavin, today we have the 120 and 120 plus sub-junior men's division. Looking at the squats that just took place, the battle in the 120 pluses, looking at the prognosis, if that's to be believed, and it takes the biggest completed lifts from any event that just passed as well as openers and puts them together, and that's how you get your prognosis. So deadlift openers can change, but it's a close battle. It's within 7.5 kilos. Actually, hang on a second. One of the deadlifts did already change. It was one of them. The two top are within 5 kilos, and then trailing from silver to bronze is another 5 kilos. So a spread of 10 kilos, the top three. We're going to have ourselves a battle for the podium in the 120 pluses. Dominic Sloma, sorry.
No, you're good.
Dominic Sloma of Poland, 85 kilo.
It looks like in our sub-junior 120 kg class, it could potentially be a threat to the world record bench press. Georgiev, who's going to be, I think he's opening with 197.5, and the world record is 207.5. It's only 10 kg away. If he were to take a 7.5 kg leap for the second, that would put him in a good spot for the third.
Have to pay attention to that second attempt selection. Noah Espinoza over in the 120 pluses representing U.S., 85 kilo. No lift. Ooh, down up off the chest. Yeah, it looks like, from certain views, it might look like just pausing, but when you take a look at the replay with a different angle, there's definitely some down up. And Luke Atkinson of Great Britain, 110 kilo opener, staying in the 120 pluses. I thought I might have saw his butt come up. Definitely came up. They're going to approach British national team approaching the jury, but there was no question on that, unfortunately. Gabriel Cosaniga of Brazil, 137.5. We're staying in the 120 pluses. Can he be the first to break the Reds appearing on the scoreboard for the 120 pluses? He's opening with a 10 kilo personal best. Hopefully the commentator's curse works in reverse. That's what I'm trying to do right here.
Good play.
3 whites, it's good. And it looks like the commentator's curse does work in reverse, but I'm building back some positive karma.
Well, we found out in the previous session that if you say it twice, it's like a negative and a negative. So it turns into a positive. So you got to say it twice.
2 wrongs don't make a right, Gavin.
Well,
Robert, 120 sub-juniors, Robert Gudbranson of Iceland. Smooth opening bench.
Good play. 2-1. Next lifter, Ahmed Akala from Turkey, 140 kilos.
140 kilos loaded for Ahmed Enes of local Turkey, representing the host nation.
Good
2-1, it's good.
Bar is noted for Parry.
Lewis Perry, 145 for his opening bench.
Good. Henrik Chan from United States, 152.5. Bar is noted for Harry.
152.5 loaded for Henrik Chan of US.
Good lift.
2-1, it's a good lift.
Mr. Oliviero from Brazil, 155 kilos. Bar is noted for Oliviero.
Oliveira of Brazil, staying in the 120s. 155 kilo for his opening bench.
Good lift. Next lifter, Marcus Rasmus from Estonia, 167.5. Followed by Ivan Georgia. Arm is noted for Marcus.
Marcus Letla, 120 plus sub junior, representing Estonia, 167.5 kilos on the bar for his opening bench.
Good lift. Lifter Ivan Georgia from Bulgaria,
That's good.
157.5 kilos.
All right, let's see how this moves, because I'm excited if he takes this world record.
Ivan Georgiev of Bulgaria, 197.5. 10 kilo away from the world record. As Gavin said, it's 207.5. Definitely within reason to have a 5 kilo jump and then a 6 kilo jump. Wow.
Yeah, it could be there.
Good lift.
We'll see what 5 kilos does, if it slows him at all, because that's the midpoint towards the record. A look at the standings after one round of benching. And Noah Espinoza of the US, 120 plus, will take his second attempt, 85 kilos. Very controlled to the chest.
Good play, 2-1.
2-1 to passes Noah on the board.
Bar is going 90 kilos.
$90-kilo Dominic Sloma in the 120 class. Long way up.
Good play.
3 white lights.
Rick Richard, 110 kilos. Bar is going for Luke.
Luke Atkinson of Great Britain, 110 kilos. Missed this on his opener, his butt came up. Retaking it for a second.
Good play.
And it's good. You see movement, but you can't see clear across daylight. Gabriel Cosaniga of Brazil, 142.5, 5-kilo jump. That's a tough fight, though. Wow, he locks it up, but head came up. Might have been some down up. Quite a few infractions. The head coming up is an issue that he's going to have to deal with. I think he's used to doing that in the gym.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you train in a certain way, you're probably going to play in that way, right? And the idea is that you want, it takes a long time to learn this and to apply it, but if you want to meet the standards of a competition, especially a world championship, you have to train to the standards of the world championship.
That's why you were saying earlier about the learning experience for sub-juniors, 147.5 for Ahmed. There's a great opportunity to learn the rules, learn how handling is done, attempt selection.
Also taking time, take advantage of the fact that you've got elite level lifters here who are older and, to be frank, stronger. Ask them what they've done and what they've learned and what's helped them. I was just having a conversation with Coco Clement the other night about how he went about fixing his depth so that he never has to worry about that again, because that's something I've struggled with. And just in that one conversation, I learned more than enough for me to be able to apply that and hopefully improve my own performance moving into further meets.
Lewis Perry, 150. Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I remember at some events, you know, you meeting in terms of handling. We all go out for dinner afterwards. You sit down beside Matt Gary, no less, and you know, you meet so many people, whether it's coaches, on game day coaches, refs. The opportunity to grow as an athlete is all around you at these events. Robert Goodbranson of Iceland, 152.5.
Yeah, most people are more than willing to help because they've been in your shoes and they want to see the sport grow. They want to see you grow, and that's actually one of the most beautiful things about this community, I feel, is everybody. This is a strength sport, and at the end of the day, these guys are competing with each other, but truthfully, they really are competing with themselves in standard, and they just have to be the strongest version of themselves. That's the most that they can do. And so we all want to see each other succeed.
Now, having said that, I heard you say to a 93 kilo junior when he asked for bench advice, figure it out. Figure it out. 105, you gave him a half hour.
Yeah.
83, you gave him 45 minutes.
No, not the 93s. They don't know.
Figure it out.
Sorry.
Tough love. Henrik Chan of US, 160 for his second attempt. 7.5 kilo jump, 2.5 kilo personal best. Feet have to be flat. Oh, and they also can't touch the rack. I didn't see that, but Rory's got eyes like a hawk for these infractions.
Not a good play. Next lifter from Brazil, Oliveira. Simon, 162.5 kilos. Bar is loaded.
162.5. We're in the 120s. Where Oliveira of Brazil taking a 7.5 kilo jump. Ooh. Nice catch.
Next lifter, Marcus Delta. From Estonia, 175 kilos. Bar is loaded for Marcus.
175 kilos in the 120 kilo class. Marcus Latla. Hit 167.5. That was his personal best. This will break that by 7.5 kilos if he can hit it.
Good play. Next lifter, Ivan Georgia from Bulgaria. In his second attempt.
208. Gavin, we were talking about Ivan Georgiev of Bulgaria possibly attempting a record. Well, here we are.
Yeah, and although some may look at that and think it's a big jump, honestly, it's not. For guys this heavy, this is probably pretty casual.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Oh my gosh, that is some pressing power in Bulgaria. Remembering to grab that chip. Now, looking at the prognosis, that's never going to come into play. He's 150 kilos ahead, more than 150 kilos ahead of the rest of the pack, but always stick to the protocol.
Yeah. Well, here's the reality. If he misses his deadlifts, all three of them.
Yeah, well, he bombs, but
yeah, then it doesn't count.
Yeah. So you got to also protect your record. You're right. Now that you have a record, you need to protect that record. Make sure you throw a dead in there that you can hit any given day. Disaster can strike. Not only do you bomb out, but you lose the world record you got earlier that day, and that's just a double whammy. Very difficult for a sub-junior to handle. Noah Espinoza from US, 87.5, 2.5 kilo jump.
Yeah,
with the 120 pluses.
He's opening at, Georgiev is opening at 287.5, which relative to his squat, which is 255, that's pretty heavy. That's 30 kilo up.
Yeah, that was his final squat, yeah.
So I don't know how good of a deadlifter he is, but usually these bigger guys tend to be, definitely tend to be, I don't want to say on par with or worse, but very, very similar deadlift to their squat. They aren't blowing it out of the water, so We'll see.
Espinoza called for heaving. After you get that press command, it's got to leave your chest, can't sink in again, and then heave up.
Luke Atkins, 115 kilos.
I saw back forth. I didn't see quite down up with that, but
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Luke, 115 kilos.
Luke Atkinson, 115. Luke took 110 in his opener, butt came up, retook it in a second, no issues. See if he can keep his butt down on the bench for 115.
Goodley. Gabriel Casanova,
It's possible his butt came up. Side judge saw something.
There was definitely movement on the butt coming up. It just, sometimes it comes up, it doesn't fully leave on one side. It's deceiving, but there's definitely a lot of motion there. It's something for him to work on. Gabriel of Brazil, 142.5 was a miss on his second, looking to take it on his third. We're in the 120 pluses. Head came up again. Whenever he brings it to his chest, it's just what he does. It's part of the motor pattern he has to break. His head comes up each and every time. Take a look at this. See the head come up every time he brings it to his chest. Even if he pressed it out, he wasn't going to get it. 152.5. Moving to the 120s. Robert Gudbranson of Iceland. 12.5 kilo jump from his opener to his second, missed his second. Hopefully trying to get this on his third and final. I saw pausing. I don't think I saw up down.
No, I don't think I saw it down either.
Judges agree.
Ahmet Enes Akpolat from Turkey, 152.5 kilos.
Yeah, that was just pauses and movement with pauses, but no clear up down. And Ahmed from Turkey, 152.5. That moved well. That'll move him from bench bronze to silver if the judges agree, and they do. In the 120 pluses.
155. Arizona from Paris.
Lewis Perry of Great Britain, 155. Five-kilo jump, trying to move from bronze to silver in the bench. Looks like he probably did it.
Goodley. Arizona from Henrik Chan from United States, 160 kilos.
160 kilos for Henrik Chan of U.S. Missed on the second. Blocks it out on his third. Judges say yes.
Next lifter, Flores Dolan from Oliveira, 162.5 kilos.
Oliveira, 162.5. This is the swap bronze for silver in the 120s. And the swap is complete. Transaction accepted.
Next lifter, Martin from Estonia, 180 kilos. Flores Dolan for Martin.
Gold already locked up, but 5 kilos towards his total. He's got Perry from Great Britain on the prognosis with 7.5 kilos spreading them apart. If he misses this, it'll be only 2.5 kilo spread. He could use this to keep his lead. And it's going to be a tight race in the deadlifts.
Not today. Ladies and gentlemen, our last lift is from Ivan Georgiev from Bulgaria, 212.5 kilos. He already broke the sub-junior bench press record.
And Ivan Georgiev of Bulgaria, 212.5. He's going to attempt to break his own record. He had broken it in the second half, or in the second attempt. A little too much, but he will walk away with the gold medal and the world record in the 120 kilo sub-junior class. Looking at the bench standings, Ivan Georgiev of Bulgaria taking gold, Oliveira of Brazil taking silver, and Henrik Chan from US taking the bronze in the 120 pluses. Marcus Latla of Estonia taking gold, Lewis Perry of Great Britain taking the silver, and Ahmed Akpola of Turkey taking the bronze. Join us in 20 minutes for the deadlift session. Some of these battles are close. We're going to see the conclusion. Welcome back to the IPF World Championships live in Istanbul, Turkey. I'm Ryan Six-Pack Lapidat. I got with me in the booth former junior world champion Gavin Aiden. And Gavin, we have the sub-junior 120 and 120 pluses. In the 120s, Ivan Georgiev of Bulgaria, smashing records on his way to the deadlift event. And when we take a peek at his total, the prognosis says after he is opening dead, he'll have a 750.5 kilo total. The world record total in the sub-junior 120s, 768.5. We are only 18.5 kilos away from that once he hits his opening pull, and that is extremely close in the deadlifts. In the 120 pluses, we have a three-way battle on the podium. Not much separates these young men. When we look at the prognosis, within 10 to 15 kilos of each other, it's going to be a battle as we start in the 120 pluses with Noah Espinoza of US with 162.5 loaded on the bar.
Group play. Next victor, Luke Atkinson, from 195 kilos, followed by Dominic Sloma from Poland.
Lift is good and his total is solidified. Staying in the 120 pluses, Luke Atkinson of Great Britain will attempt 195 kilos. Smooth pull.
Next victor, Dominic Sloma from Poland, 200 kilos. Bar is loaded.
.200 kilo by Dominic Sloma, Poland, gets him on the board in the 120 sub-juniors.
Next victor, Ahmet Akbal from Turkey, 200 kilos. Bar is loaded.
Ahmed of Turkey, 200 kilos, 120 pluses. Looking to solidify his total. Makes easy work of it.
And referee say, group lift. Bar is loaded for Henrik Chan from United States, 202.5.
Henrik Chan, staying in the 120s, 202.5. Makes easy work of it.
Good play. Next victor, Oliveira from Brazil, 210 kilos. Bar is loaded for Oliveira.
Svan Oliveira of Brazil, 210, we're in the 120 kilo class. Hard to believe that kid is 18.
Yeah, I don't want to believe that he's 18. It's like that scene out of, what movie was that? Was it Sandlot? The baseball movie.
Yeah.
The paper birth certificate. They drew on it. Crayon, no?
215, 120 sub-junior. Robert Goodbranson.
Googly, all white. Marcus Leva from Estonia, 220 kilos. Bar is loaded for Marcus.
Marcus, 120. We're in the 120 pluses again, representing Estonia. Makes easy work of it.
And the freestyle, Googly, Gabriel Casanica from Brazil, 230 kilos. Bar is loaded for Gabriel.
Gabriel Cosaniga of Brazil, 230 for his opening pole in the 120 pluses. Rock back a little bit. Toes came off the ground. He maintained and gets it, but if he continues to lose his balance, that's when the down up starts happening. See his toes threatening to come off.
Yeah.
He solidified his total, but when it gets heavier, you just gotta have a little more control. He could start losing it. Lewis Perry of Great Britain, 250 for his opening pole. This is the final pole of the 120 pluses. One more to go in the 120s.
For the first attack, the last victor is Ivan Georgiev from Bulgaria, 287.5.
Moving back to the 120 kilo class, Bulgaria, Ivan Georgiev with 287.5 kilos. 306 is the world deadlift record. 287.5 is relatively close. Let's see how this moves, and he might take a swing at another world record. Oh my gosh. Gavin, we were talking about if 287.5 would be too heavy for him.
Yeah, and obviously it was not. And it looks like he's definitely going to try and go for that world record.
I would not be shocked at all based off of how 287.5 just moved. If we don't see a world record deadlift attempt.
And a world record.
And a world record total, yeah.
Total. I mean, no, world record total.
Yup. Ivanov making history. Really running away with it in the 120s. Whereas the 120 plus is a very close race between 1 and 2. Just 2.5 kilos separates them.
Bar is loaded for Noah.
Noah Espinoza from the U.S., 175 for his opening pole. Stuck just above his knees.
Not today. Next victor, Lil Atkinson from Great Britain, 225. Followed by Alvin and Akbar. Bar is loaded for Lou.
Luke Atkinson from Great Britain, 202.5 for his second attempt. Pretty smooth, Gavin.
And good play.
Yeah, no issues there.
Ahmet Enes Akpolat from Turkey, 115 kilos. Bar is loaded for Akpolat.
Ahmed representing Turkey, 215, 15 kilo jump. Second attempt in the 120 pluses.
Good play.
And it's good.
Next lifter, Henrik Chan from United States.
Henrik Chan of US, 117.5. 15 kilo jump. We're moving back to the 120s.
Not a good play.
Not sure
2-1.
what they saw there.
Next lifter, Dominic Sloan from
That
Poland. Bar is
wasn't a
loaded,
down up to me.
120 kilos.
Yeah, it's tough.
Dominic Sloma, Poland, 220. 20 kilo jump.
Good play.
3 whites.
Next lifter, Roberto Oliveira from 225 kilos. Bar is loaded for Oliveira.
Back in the 120s. Oliveira, Brazil, 225. 15 kilo jump from his opener. Bobble at the top. Let's see what they say, though.
Pretty stay. Not a good play. Next lifter, Robert Gudbranson from Iceland. 230 kilos.
So did his shoulders come forward, or did the bar actually come forward?
Bar
mean,
is loaded for Robert.
It's tough to say. We could see on the replay when it's slow, but anyways, Robert Goodbranson, 120s, 230, 15 kilo jump.
Good play.
3 whites and it's good.
Marcus Letla from Estonia, 237.5 kilos. Bar is loaded for Marcus.
$237.5 loaded for Marcus of Estonia in the 120 pluses.
Referee say good play. Bar is loaded for Gabriel.
Gabriel
242.5.
Posaniga of Brazil, 242.5 in the 120 pluses still. See if you can get the balance on point. Let's try not to rock back too much.
Next lifter, Louis Perry.
Louis Perry of Great Britain, 260. 10-kilo jump.
And Goodley.
2-1, it's good.
Ivan Georgiev.
Just one pull left, Gavin. Ivan Georgiev of the 120s, sub-juniors, pulling a world record, 306.5.
306.5.
Also would be a world record total.
World sub-junior deadlift
2-in-1.
and total record. Ivan Georgiev.
Here he comes.
Come on, everybody. World sub-junior deadlift and total record. Next one, and referee say Goodley.
Roy Lights.
All right, congratulations on the new record. Ladies and
Crazy how he's
gentlemen,
only 18.
Georgia,
18 years old.
Noah Espinoza and Luke
Record after record after record.
followed by Henry Chan and Ahmed Akbar.
Look at the deadlifts. Ivan Georgiev, not only on top of this group, but history's 120s, both in deadlift and in total. And Markus Letla of Estonia leading the pack for the 120 pluses. Look, Ivan could win the 120 pluses with this total by more than 100 kilos. That's just what a phenomenal talent he is. And Noah Espinoza of US missed 175 and retaking it on his third. Having a hard time locking that out. Oh. Hit it back for a second, then shoulders slightly move forward at the end.
Luke Atkinson from Great Britain, 207.5.
Right at the top, he'll lock it out if for a second. There. And then, boom, they move forward a stitch before he gets down command. 207.5 for Luke Atkinson in the 120 pluses, Great Britain. Three whites. Luke Atkinson goes 3 for 3 in the deadlift event.
From the United States. Bar is loaded for Henry.
No. 222.5 is good. That's a bronze medal in the deadlifts for Henrik.
32.5 kilos. loaded for Akbar.
Ahmed of Turkey, 232.5. $17.5 kilo jump. Pull him into bronze medal for the deadlifts at 120 plus. A little too much.
Now today, next lifter Dominic Slomo for Poland, 235 kilos.
Dominic Sloma, Poland, 235. We're back in the 120s. This will pull him into position for a deadlift silver with 3 lifters left to pull.
For Dominic. Good move.
2 to 1, it's good.
Next
235 loaded for Oliveira in the 120s.
From Brazil, 235 kilos.
Missed 225, moving up anyways, 10 kilos. This will take him from 3rd overall to silver overall and a bronze medal in the deadlift event.
I believe this will also be a pretty big PR for him.
Oh, wow. And hopefully he's okay. See a replay here.
Not a good move.
And he leaves assisted, but he's on his feet as he leaves.
Hope he's all right.
He is a big, strong lad, and hopefully he is okay.
Next lifter, Robert Gudbranson from Iceland, 242.5 kilos. Bar is loaded.
$242.5 loaded for Robert Gudbranson of Iceland.
Referees, stop.
They had on their attempt selection, I believe 245 instead of 242.5. Trying to see what the significance of that would be, because it won't move him up in the overall any. He's secure with the silver. Where that would put him in the deadlifts, I think he's pretty. I don't see the difference between 245 and 242.5. But if that's what they put in, that's what he should get. Might mean something back home. Remember, keep in mind there's national records, etc., that we don't have in front of us. So maybe it's worth the discussion.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an attempt change. Robert Gudbranson from Iceland, 245 kilos.
So 245 kilos being loaded for Robert Gudbranson of Iceland. Again, it'll still be a silver medal overall and pulling for a silver in the deadlifts.
Bar is loaded for Robert, 245 kilos.
So apparently they put the attempt in. They're just trying to debate whether or not they got the attempt change in on time. And apparently it swung in favor of Team Iceland. They did. Gave it a good try.
The next lifter, Marcus Rappa from Estonia, 245 kilos, followed by Gabriel Casaniga from Brazil.
It's interesting that he went and took 245 since his personal best was 230. Probably could have went 237.5, gotten it, and secured a nice little personal best for him. Although it looks like I guess he had wanted to get that deadlift silver medal.
Back in the 120 plus is Estonia's Marcus Letla going for 245. Gold overall is locked up. Silver for Deads is already locked up. This extra kilos. Finishes with a 650 even. And Gabriel Casaniga of Brazil having a discussion on what the bar should be loaded at again. I'll take this break to give a shout out to our sponsors, Alico, which is equipment you see on the platform today. Top of the line in the industry, as well as it's in our warm-up room. The choice of champions and SBD. You see their lovely singlets on a lot of the national teams that they sponsor and some of powerlifting's biggest stars. And SBD's Sheffield, the biggest prize in all of powerlifting today, coming March 2023. Wildcards announcements will be made, as well as when tickets will go on sale. SBD took all the world champions from the Open, and if they were within 95% of the world record, they got an immediate invite. Wildcards will soon be announced. Everybody's greatly anticipating those major announcements.
Bar is over 242.5.
And 242.5 is being loaded for Gabriel Casaniga of Brazil. So it's rare. Must have been some kind of communication. It's lower than the 245 earlier, and the bar never decreases, but might have been a miscommunication of sorts. Sometimes my words are too hard to read when I put them down. When I scratch them on a piece of paper. Maybe that's what happened here.
I think that's exactly what happened. You know what? Not everybody has the skills you have.
Oh, it's the balance issue again, but regains his feet before it comes on him.
Next lifter, Louis Perry from Great Britain, 270 kilos.
Great Britain's Lewis Perry, 270. He's got the silver medal overall locked up and deadlift gold locked up. This will increase his total by 10 kilos. A personal best by 10 kilos.
Harry from Great Britain, 270 kilos. 30 seconds.
Looks like he's going to time it out. Down to 20 seconds, unless he's just being one heck of a showman.
That's interesting though, right? Because he could have easily put an attempt that was, let's say, 325 or something like that, and probably would have gotten it, or 316, 315.
No, we're down here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When you said 325, I was like, that's a heck of an increase, sir. You said you weren't easily before that as well.
Yeah, I don't know why.
A small 55 kilo jump. No, I got you. We have so many columns and rows in front of us. That's why there's two of us, my friend.
That's exactly right. Well, you're the better of the two, so.
Oh, I think you said the same thing to Amelia in the morning session, but I'll take it. Charming devil, you. Ivan Georgiev of Bulgaria. 342.5. Coming into the event, his profile read 290 was his previous PR. You never know though when they update those profiles, so I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
I've seen profiles that haven't been updated. Sometimes you see them come in the picture, and then you look at the individual, and they look 3 to 4 years older. I'm like, that's the same individual, is it?
Yeah.
And maybe even 2 weight classes up, you're like, that is not. That's an old profile, but. Okay, so they decrease it to 312.5. Not sure. They didn't really necessarily need.
A placeholder.
Yeah, nobody was coming for him. He has 170 kilos on the next competitor in total.
Never know.
You never know. Put a placeholder in case someone does a bold move.
Last deadlift by 100 kilo.
World record. Broke it in the second. Looking to break his own world record in the third. Oh, wow. And that is an extremely strong 120 sub junior. Definitely a future star in our sport. 3 white lights.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony is after the next session. All the athletes and coaches, attention please, all the athletes and coaches. The medal ceremony is after the next
So we will take a
session.
short 10-minute break.
Now we are going
Don't
to
go anywhere.
have
We'll see you then. There's a look at the totals as we leave you.
attention, all the athletes and coaches.